Hi, I'm Juliana. I have been making bracelets for a while now. And to be honest, this whole phase that we're in of making bracelets and trading them for the upcoming tour, which I am going to, has been very nostalgic for me. I used to make friendship bracelets a lot when I was young. My mom used to work at a beads shop at Holland Village, and it was one of those shops where you could buy beads in packs, but you could also scoop them by gram. So you just scoop whatever you like, you weigh them, and then you pay however much. I know some shops in People's Park have the same concept, essentially that, but the beads there were like really nice. They were like crystal looking. So I had a phase where I was making a lot of jewelry. I made earrings, bracelets, necklaces, keychains, what have you, you name it, I made it. So to rekindle this hobby as an adult with spending power has been quite a life-changing moment, to be honest. It's not even about the music also. Like, yes, we have the text on like the bracelets, but it's just been so nice making jewelry. I am aware that there are a lot of young fans of Taylor Swift that are kind of new to bracelet making. So, judging by the fact that I have made almost 500 bracelets in the past few months, I feel that I am more than qualified to share some tips and tricks for bracelet making. So here we are. I'm going to share what's in my toolbox, certain how to put it together, arranging the beads together, tying the knots and all of that. So let's go through what I have in the toolbox first. Here's what I have. I have this big box of everything that I need to make bracelets. Everything. In the box, I also have two bags worth of bracelets. This is almost 500. Okay, your toolbox. Obviously, you need the beads. There are a few kinds. I'll go through them kind of briefly because I will be talking more about them when we get to the arranging beads part. But I separate them by three categories, which are primary beads, which are your main ones. They are the accent beads, and they are the fun beads. So the primary beads are, for me, this kind. They're really small, they're really tiny, but I choose really tiny beads. I think they're called check glass beads. They're not actually made out of glass, and I don't recommend you use glass beads, but I think they are in that style. I also have bigger packs where it's arranged by color, which makes it really easy when you want to go through like which era you're making. And then I use this kind as like the accent beads. So these are slightly bigger than these, so you can see the difference. And then I have fun beads where they're like usually bigger or like something like that. So this is like a box of stars. We also have cameos. We also have pearly hearts. We also have flowers. We also have these like round beads, which are very like pretty color, which has like flowers, stars, and I think moon. And I also have some that are like a moon and Saturn. Or you could even have something like this, which is like a smiley face or hearts, or like this like gemstone looking ones, which I use for midnights. These are like the fun ones. Like, you don't want to create a whole bracelet out of these because you're gonna run out of beads really fast. But if you add like one or two as a pop, it's really fun. So I'll show you an example of a bracelet that I've made that showcases all the different types of beads. So for example, I have this which says you need to come down. So I have the primary beads, which are these small ones, and then I have the accent beads, which create some kind of pattern, and then I have the fun bead, which is a little charm of a rainbow. So like this has all three elements, and of course the alphabets. Another example, I have one that says the man. So you have the primary bead, which are these ones, and then you have the accent bead, and then you have the tennis ball, which is like the fun bead. Tennis ball because of the music video. So those are the types of beads. Feel free to only have one kind. Like, I only have these because my friend gave them to me. Otherwise, I didn't have them. For a long time, I only had like the primary beads and the accent beads. And I thought, okay, those are really, really fun to alternate. But you don't even need the accent beads. You can just have all of the same size. Let's say you want to get a bigger style of bead. You can just get one size and create accent with color. For example, I have this pair that says Poison Ivy and Daisy. and it's all the same size, but I use like black, 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 green, and that creates this like snake skin kind of effect. Same thing with this one, it says daisy, black, 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 yellow. So you just need, like with just this one pack, so many different variations that you can make. Okay, so those are the beads. Obviously you need alphabet beads. I have one of these packs where you have every letter, except there's not enough space for like Y and Z, so I have them in a separate box. I have a mix of like black and white, but for a long time I only had white. You can choose like one color. They also have like really colorful beads, but of course that makes, I guess, matching the colors a little bit more difficult, and it makes restocking alphabets a lot more difficult also. So you have to remember that there are a few alphabets that you are going to run out way quicker than other alphabets. E's, I don't know how many times I've restocked E's. Actually all the vowels, A, E, I, O, U and Y, plus a few other alphabets like H, G, P, S, T. Okay, at this point I'm just naming various alphabets. But vowels, you're gonna run out really fast. And the funkier your beads are, the harder it is going to restock, because you kind of want to have some uniformity. Unless you don't want to, then that's completely fine also. At the end of the day, it all depends on like what you want. And my biggest thing that I'm just gonna keep reiterating throughout this video is don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. It's supposed to be fun, and it's supposed to be something that you trade. And like, I would love to get an imperfect bracelet. I love it. I love it. You do have two different shapes for bracelets though. The ones that I just showed you are the round kinds. You also have the square kind. I prefer the round because aesthetically I think that's nicer and I think that's prettier, and they kind of match the look of like the dainty bracelets a lot more than the square kind. But if you're using bigger beads, then I think the square one might be more proportionate to what you're making. A few other different kinds of beads, one that I didn't mention, I kind of forgot, are like clay beads. Those are like discs with like a hole in the middle. The problem with that is that I feel like you need a lot of beads to make one bracelet, so you're gonna end up restocking a lot. One of the reasons why I chose small beads is because in one container of the small beads, you can make more bracelets than if in this one small container they were like medium or larger size beads. Do you get what I mean? So I just wanted to stretch the dollar, to be completely honest. But also it works out because I prefer that look. String. There are a few different types of strings and also different ways to put together a bracelet. I know some people use like non-elastic string and they braid it in a certain way where it's like a braided bracelet. I don't really know how to make those. Oh, obviously you need a pair of scissors to cut your string, but I'm sure you already know that. Optional, tape. A lot of people use tape to like cut the string, tape one side to a table, and then like put the beads in the string. I don't use it. I'll show you an alternative way to bead later. Okay, this is the string that I use. I love this string. I love it. Like, I've made so many bracelets. I don't want to use any other string. I use this because number one, it's black, so it's easy to see. If you're using those like clear ones, it's gonna be so hard to see. I promise you, you're gonna struggle with it. I promise you, you're gonna struggle with it. Whereas if you use like a bold color or you use black, like easy to see, easy to like find the tip and everything. And the only downside of this is that if you have kind of translucent beads, for example, the stars that I have, like this one, you can see the string through the bead. Yeah, I personally don't mind, but if that bothers you, then you can just get a different color string. You can get clear ones, white ones, or you can get funky colors like yellow, hot pink, electric blue. And then when it goes through the bead, it looks really nice. But I use black because I'm almost in my 30s and I don't want to mess around with like, no thank you. Another reason why I like this is because the string is flat. So there are two different types. This one is the flat kind. Then there's another kind that is like round. I don't know if I have. I'll show you a photo of the roll. There's really like two main players in this, unless you get like really expensive kind. I'm not a fan of the round kind because flat string has grip. I'm not kidding you. When I put my beads in, maybe I'll show it to you later, and I let go, it's not gonna drop. Okay, obviously not for every bead. You have to make sure that the size is also like, with the beads that I use, which are the small dainty ones, they stay. So you kind of lessen the risk of having a Martha getting situation with all the pearls kind of scattered on the floor. Sorry, was that really graphic? That's the best thing I can think of. Okay, string, whatever. At the end of the day, as long as the string matches the size of your beads, that's fine. You can use a smaller string on a bigger bead, but you can't use a bigger string on a smaller bead. I feel like that makes sense. Now, all of that, very straightforward, whatever. I'm just sharing because I feel like I needed to share it. Might be useful to you, I don't know. But the one thing that I really want to share is this. It's a piece of wire. That's all it is. It's like 2 pieces of wire that connect at the top and bottom. So it looks like that. What you do is you take one end of the string and you slot it in, push it all the way, and now you've got this. It's not gonna come out. It's kind of snug. Now, putting beads in this wire is infinitely easier than putting beads through this string itself, because the string is like kind of bendy and inflexible. So I'll show you now, okay? I'll show you 2 things. I'll show you this wire thing and I'll show you the grip that the string has. So I'm gonna use these tiny beads. Like, these are small. These are like, I tried using these without the wire. No thank you, no thank you. So I have the small beads, wire. Let's put like 3 in, okay? So it's now in the wire. I push it down, let it pass through the string. Now it's on the string and it's not gonna move. So if I take out the wire, I just have to untuck it. Look. Safe. Isn't that amazing? So many times I slipped or something, like I accidentally let go of the string. Nothing scatters. Everything is just bloop. I will link everything that I got online down below. Most of these are from Shopee. I know that Shein also has beads. Lazada also definitely has beads. Alternative places you can get beads, Daiso, but expensive. You have a small pack. I think Daiso is like $2, 16 cents, 18 cents. I can't remember. But you could get fun beads or accent beads. Like, for example, maybe you might find something like this there. So it's kind of worth it, because at most you're going to be using 1 per bracelet, so you could really like stretch it out and make the bracelet a little bit more interesting. Spotlight also has beads. The last time that I went to Spotlight, the stock was really low. I think they still had a few options, but also keep in mind, as with anything in Spotlight, it's expensive. If you can afford to wait by buying things online, just go for Shopee. People's Park also has 2 bead shops that I know of called Beads and Crafts, and I think Shino Beads? That's where I got some of my fun beads as well. I know that they also sell the string that I use there and the round clear elastic string there, so you could get them there for not much more expensive than if you were to get on Shopee. Yeah, and I think that's all you kind of need for your toolkit. Okay, so now you have all the items that you need in your toolbox. Words. Obviously, there are, you can just follow song titles. Most of the bracelets that I've done are just song titles. I also have made a few like inside jokes on bracelets. A couple that I just, terms that I picked out in songs. For example, like just last night, I made one that says Georgia Stars from Tim McGraw. Or like Corey's Eyes from Stay Beautiful. She also has like really long song titles, so you could just do an abbreviation. Like I made the You Need to Calm Down, I just put like YNTCD. Sorry, that took a bit of brain power. I made Right Where You Left Me, so RWYLM. You could also do like really creative ideas. Like I made one that was based on Death by 1,000 Cuts. I asked the traffic lights if it would be alright. They said I don't know, so I just put IDK and I used the colors of the traffic lights. It's not as obvious though. I also made like I made this one first and I realized it looked really like Bob Marley or Rastafarian. I wasn't sure how I felt about that. It looks really nice, but I don't know if I was giving out like wrong signals. I don't know. IDK, I don't know. So that's why I made like this one. The main thing is not to think about it. At this point, we're already so far into the ERAS tour. So many Americans have already made their version of the bracelets because the tour started in the US. And so there are already a lot of guides on Pinterest, for example. You just have to search up like friendship bracelet ideas. Friendship bracelets without E. Friendship bracelets without A. Without Y. Without O. Without U. Because you are going to run out of vowels. I promise you. If you're just buying a fresh kit for the first time, get an extra pack of each vowel because you're gonna need it, including Y. I've also really been liking making matching sets. Like, for example, I showed you the Poison Ivy and Daisy one. I also made that was like to the moon, and another one that says to Saturn, referencing 7 from folklore. Like, those ones are really fun. I've also made like groups of 4, also using Death by 1,000 Cuts. My Time, My Wine, My Spirit, My Trust. I made that for Magic, Madness, Heaven, Sin. I've done Cherry Lips, Crystal Skies. So those are like the matching pairs, you know what I mean? I mean, there's so many ideas. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and like go through all the ideas, but just know that there are so many resources now because so many people have already made bracelets. So you just look them up, don't think too much. On the topic of thinking too much, bead arrangements. I've seen people do the most intricate like letters and the beads like go around and like wavy patterns and like it's got like a drape and everything. By now, if you're like knee deep into ERAS tour preparation, into bracelet making, TikTok videos and stuff like that, please know that you do not have to make bracelets that are that nice. You really don't. The thing is also, like, if you're gonna be trading them, you don't want to let go of these really pretty bracelets. Like, I don't know, it just feels like so much work. Like, imagine making one of those beautiful ones and then getting back like, you know, like, I don't know. In my opinion, I feel like it's just not worth putting in that much effort for bracelets that you're going to trade away unless you really like have so much time and you don't want to trade so many and you really just, in your heart, you don't mind it. I could not. But also, like, know that that's really advanced bead making and you shouldn't have to put yourself through that pressure of making beads like that. If you did, that's amazing and all the respect for you, but you really don't need to. Even simple ones can be effective and cute. That being said, it is a lot easier when you do have a pattern or like a little style that you follow. I have one particular style that I reuse over and over and over and over again, just in different color variations or different texture variations, but they work for me. What I usually do is I lay out the alphabets that I need for the word that I'm doing. Sometimes I would lay out like a few so that I don't have to keep going to the same box. So let's say I lay out like 5 different words and I put them in little piles, or I lay them out in a line, but most of the time I can't remember what it is that I'm doing, so it doesn't really matter. And then after that, I just take out the beads that I think I'm going to be using. So I've chosen this like lilac purple accent bead. I picked out 2 fun beads and I pick out my primary beads. In this case, I'm also going to do the like bookends on the accent beads. So I've chosen this like purple and pink. And then the next thing I do is I just put the string through that wire that I showed you just now. I don't even cut the string. I just leave the entire spool in this little box so that it doesn't run away, and then I just start. So you can really see, like, I'm trying to demonstrate how easy it is to put the bead into the wire. If I were to put the same beads into just the string, it would have taken me like 10 times longer. I swear to you, this wire is game changer. Typically, when I use the small beads, I put around 5 to 6 before I put in the accent bead. If I'm not using the bigger accent bead or bookends for the accent, then I could get away with using less because it's all about like proportions. If you have a bigger accent area, then you might want to put more in the primary areas, like the parts in the middle, like the filler bit. But if your accent is like just one small bead of a different color, then you don't really need to make the filler so long. Usually I put a few filler beads on the left and right of the fun bead, just so that it has more of an opportunity to pop out, and then I just go into the text. For smaller words, I sometimes put a bead in between each letter because I don't want the words to look so small. I want it to be a little bit more spaced out. But for longer words, or like song titles like the one I'm doing now, which is Foolish One from Speak Now TV, I just put the words in and I make sure that the space between foolish and one is like a little bit bigger, so I'll put like 2 beads in. Because I've run out of space on the wire, I've already pulled through everything onto the string, and because these beads are kind of small, I have to go through them in sections, because if I tug everything at once, I run the risk of like just snagging everything or pulling the string off the wire, which is something I don't want. It usually can take a little bit of pulling, but too much will obviously cause the string to snap or the string to come off the wire. Because I've made so many bracelets, I'm kind of good at gauging like when I should stop, when is the right length for each bracelet. But if you need to keep checking, you could just do this, which is connect the 2 ends together and hold it tight, and then you just put your hand in like as if you're wearing the bracelet, and that usually gives you a good gauge of whether or not it fits really well, whether you need to put more, or maybe you need to remove like one set of that pattern if it's too big. But also I think it is worth making bracelets of like a variety of sizes, so some that are your size, some that are a little bit smaller, and some that are a bit bigger. As you can tell, I'm trying to shake the beads off the string just to show you the grip of the string with the beads that I'm using, and nothing came out. Once I'm ready to cut, I leave about like 2 to 3 centimeters of each end, and I do a surgeon's knot. So this is apparently like the strongest knot that you can make. A surgeon's knot is really easy. Basically, let's say you have a left side and a right side. The left side goes on top first, and you make that loop. And then on the second round, the right side goes on top. Or you could do the right side on top first and then the left side on top first. Usually those 2 knots are enough, but just for safety, I like to put in a 3rd knot of any kind. And I've never had any of my strings like come undone ever, so I think it's not bad. Once we're done, I just grab the ends, pinch it with 2 fingers. I pull it a little bit so that I can really get as close as possible to the knot, and I just snip it off, and that's it. Unfortunately, when you use smaller beads, it's very hard to hide the knot, so in this case you can still see that tiny knot. It doesn't bother me, it's quite small, so I don't mind. Alternatively, you can strategically put the knot in between 2 alphabets, because usually the hole for the alphabet beads are a little bit bigger, so you could also tuck that knot underneath the beads. And then you're done with your bracelet. It looks a bit like misshapen when you put it down because everything is like kind of tight, but once you wear it, it looks kind of normal, and you do wear into it a little bit. So we've created like 1 bracelet today together. It really is so easy. Those are the best things that I can share with you, and hopefully you have a lot of fun. I find that now people are getting kind of stressed and overthinking the whole like bracelet making process. If it's not fun, just don't do it. Honestly, that's the best way I can put. Like, it's okay if you have nothing to trade. There will be people like me who will just give it out for free. And also you can buy bracelets now. You can buy like a pack of 10 or something and use that to trade. It shouldn't come at a cost of like it being stressful to you. It should be enjoyable to you. And also, don't think too much about it, and don't put like unnecessarily high standards on yourself for bracelet making. Literally, it's not life or death. It's just a bunch of bracelets. And you're gonna trade them off, and people will be happy to receive anything that you're gonna give them, and hopefully they'll be happy to give you as well. So yeah, I hope you have fun. I'm going on the 4th March. Let me know if you're also going on the 4th March. I'm very excited, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye!